So the al-Qaeda guy that was killed last night with this pretty cool missile that was fired from a drone, that this missile, I guess, that has blades coming, a bunch of blades coming out the side, and it's spinning, and it just goes towards somebody and just chops them to pieces. It must be pretty raunchy. I'm sure the company that produces that missile is very happy for the coverage of that and the free advertising, because it was all over. That was on some mainstream news sites this morning. So that guy was killed yesterday. But what they're not telling you is that he was a source or a collaborator with the United States, probably a reluctant one, I would guess, but he was collaborating with the United States in vis-a-vis the moderate rebels, the supposed moderate rebels that we had in Syria that were fighting against Bashar al-Assad. Those moderate rebels were in fact forces loyal to this guy who was, according to the government, according to, the statements released yesterday, the commander of al-Qaeda. So that would mean the forces in Idlib fighting against Bashar al-Assad were al-Qaeda. And this has been reported in the media before many, many times over the years, scattered here and there, and throughout the mainstream. It's been reported, and it's been investigated much more deeply. It's been mentioned in mainstream media over the past 11 years. And, but it's been investigated more deeply by outlets like the Gray Zone, all sorts of people. There was even a bill that Tulsi Gabbard sponsored that they tried to put through, that she tried to get into, get on the floor to vote, that was called the Stop Arming Terrorists Act. And it said, please stop arming these al-Qaeda guys. Well, those al-Qaeda guys would only listen to this so-called commander of al-Qaeda that we killed yesterday. So he must no longer have been useful for whatever reason, and they got rid of him, and they used that as a little PR stunt. But that's my theory, is that I'm fairly certain that he was the go-between to get those forces to do what the United States did for many years, up until recently. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, he was no longer needed. And once he was no longer needed, I'm sure that makes him a pretty big liability, and then they killed him. So that's what I think. I think that they were probably, I would, venture to guess that it wasn't too difficult to find him, because they were probably still in contact with him, either directly or indirectly. And then they just one day said, hey, this guy's got to go. It's kind of like, in the mafia, when, they're like, oh, we got to kill this guy, just to be sure, just to make sure he doesn't talk or whatever. That's basically what they did to this guy. I'm not saying I have sympathy for him, but yeah, the one thing they're not talking about is that he was a source, if you want to say that. That would be the technical term for the CIA or whoever. It may have been another intelligence agency to coordinate forces in specifically Idlib province. And all of that's going to check out for anybody that does their research. Why they killed him, or what was going on politically with in that situation, I have no idea. I don't know. I just think he was no longer useful for whatever reason, and they had to get rid of him because he was a liability. So that's my theory. I'm out.